Okay.
So
All right.
you suscepted me to jokes last episode.
Yeah. I love jokes.
Okay, so I got a couple jokes for you to make up for it.
Oh, okay, good.
So my first joke is, so it's less of a joke and more of just a question, right? Okay, so
Okay.
there's 500 bricks on an airplane. One falls off. How many are there?
499.
Okay, what are the 3 steps to putting an elephant in a refrigerator?
The 3 steps?
Yeah.
You open the fridge, put the elephant in the fridge, and close it.
Okay, right now, that's pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
What are the 4 steps to putting a giraffe in a refrigerator?
You open the fridge, you fold the giraffe, you put the giraffe in the fridge, and you close it.
But there's an elephant in the fridge.
Okay, fine. You open the fridge, you take the elephant out of the fridge, you put the giraffe in the fridge, and you close the fridge.
Okay, right now, so the Lion King is having a birthday party, right?
Okay, yeah.
All the animals attend but one. Which animal is it and why?
Okay, so the Lion King's having a birthday party. All the animals attend but one. Which animal doesn't attend?
Yep.
Antelope.
Nope.
Okay. The giraffe, he's in the fridge.
Yeah, of course. Okay, now
Yeah. Whew.
here's another good one, right? So Sally wants to cross an alligator-infested river. There are no bridges. What?
She wants to cross an alligator-infested river?
Right. There's no bridge, and the only way she can get across is by swimming. She swims across and makes it to the other side safe. Why?
So she's able to cross and she makes it to the other side. Why? Because the alligators were at the birthday party.
Okay, you are so good at this. Sally dies anyway. Why?
Wait, Sally dies anyway?
Yeah, why?
I don't know why.
She got hit in the head with a flying brick.
God fucking damn it! It came full circle. I wasn't. Damn it.
There's your joke to make up for it.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna cut almost all of them, but that last one that actually really got me good. God damn it.
So, everyone, welcome to the Straight Up Podcast.
Yeah.
Straight up. Okay, can I say one thing real quick?
You can say whatever you want.
We
Mac.
started the podcast off of a whim where we just thought that the Straight Up Podcast sounded like a funny title for a podcast, you know?
Yeah.
But the more I think about it, have you ever seen that drug ad? Like, it was like an anti-drug ad that was released in like the 90s. And
which one?
And it was called Straight Up.
Was it?
Yeah, definitely look it up. I'll put it down in down below. It had a famous rap group in it. What was it? I can't remember. I now I can't find it anywhere. But it goes straight up, straight up, straight up, straight up.
Weird.
And it's about not doing drugs.
So we named ourselves after something that advocates for not doing drugs?
Well, and I didn't think about it until I was editing the podcast, and then I was like, that is sort of funny.
That is really funny. Speaking of funny things, did you see the thumbnails that I made for our episodes?
Yeah, they're really bad, and I love them.
Aren't they just the worst?
People always like to talk about, thumbnails, proverbially giving people cancer.
Yeah.
Those definitely fall into that category, and that's what makes them wonderful.
Yeah, they're you told me, harken back to last podcast. I think it was after the podcast or whatever, but you said I could do whatever I wanted to. And so I did. I definitely did whatever I wanted to. Yeah.
You're not wrong. I did say, I regret saying, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's clickbait to the highest degree. One says 18 years and older only. So you just know that everyone's going to be watching that podcast.
So, yes, other than your thumbnails,
yep.
What did you do this week? Actually, before we talk about what we did this week, let us start up FTL.
Yeah, we'll see if anyone actually wins today.
Well, I doubt we will. This is a very hard. Actually, maybe. So tell me what you think about this game, Thomas.
This is one of my favorite games.
Is it really? Why is that?
Yeah. Well, I love the simplicity of the game, and it's also it's different than anything I've played ever. It's very unique in its gameplay, and it almost has like a text adventure feel to it with like some high strategy. And like micromanagement that you can also do. You can play the game so many different ways just based off of the ship that you're playing. It's fun. I think it's a great game. The music is enchanting. You can really get caught up in your game if you really want to and get really into it and get all the achievements and stuff. I think it's a great game. And they made a big expansion to it, and that expansion just only enhanced the game. And it was a free expansion, which is awesome.
Definitely.
And
I think they're coming out with a new one as well.
They have a new game.
Yeah. Well, it was Into the Breach, which I haven't been able to play yet, but I've heard and I've watched, and it looks very good.
Yeah, I actually just found out about that recently, and I think I'm gonna have to pick it up.
It's from what I've seen, it is sort of a puzzle strategy game that's sort of roguelite-ish, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and also what's great about this game is the roguelike elements that it has.
Yes, well, and that's what I would definitely describe this game as a roguelite.
Yeah. No, it's great, and I like it a lot, and I'm happy to be playing it. I'm going to be playing on normal.
Me as well. I'm not going for hard. What ship are you playing at the moment?
Well, currently I'm going to play the Zoltan ship.
Really? I lost all my progress at one point.
Oh, so you have like no ships?
Well, I played it a little bit a couple weeks ago, and I was able to get the Inji class.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to be playing as the Inji. So yeah, I think I'm going to start it up if you are. I'm hitting it right now. If that sounds good to you.
I named my ship Mac 1. I figure I'm going to have multiple Macs in this course of this podcast. So.
Yep, I'm changing mine too. Thomas punches dogs. Oh, I can only Thomas punches dope. Okay, and then other than that, I have you, Thomas. You are the pilot.
Good.
Along with me and Tim Allen.
Oh, Tim.
Yeah, you forgot about Tim. He should be your captain. Should be Tim Allen, and then Mac 1, and then Mac 2.
Yep. Are you playing with the expansion?
Yes, I am playing with the Advanced Edition.
Yes, that is what it is.
New systems, weapons, alien races, and more.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'm going to hit start right now if you are.
Yep, I'm ready to go.
Okay, I'm hitting start now.
Great.
Ooh, immediately I am in a danger zone. Okay. But yeah, my thoughts on this game. I think it's a very interesting strategic. It's definitely strategic. It's about a resource management.
Yeah.
Getting. I guess probably the best way to describe it would just be getting to the very end is extremely hard.
But very rewarding.
Definitely very. I would definitely describe it as very rewarding as well. I think specifically the best part of this game, in my opinion, is that it allows you to kind of play it the way you want to, and you kind of hit on that in your own kind of review on it. I think specifically beyond that, it also has so much replayability. I think there's a lot of games, even in the roguelite category, that you play them for a while and you kind of master it, and you can basically beat it on any run. Games that in this camp, I believe, is like, I really like the Birth of Isaac, right? or the
or Binding of Isaac.
The Binding of Isaac. I really enjoy the Binding of Isaac. But I do think that its downfall is that once you get good enough at the game, you always win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And what's good about this game is it's a pain in the ass.
No, yeah, and it's really hard, and you can be the best player in the world, and you can still sort of you can still lose. You start to learn tricks and stuff. You start to learn how to do specific things like, oh, I don't know.
Well, what is really good is you can, there's a lot of things, and people play this game in a lot of different ways. Like when I have an issue on the ship, like I do right now, where I definitely know there's fire on the ship, but my sensors are down.
Yeah, you got to search that fire out, or you have to man the sensors booth.
Yeah, what I do is I just empty every single room into the vacuum of space.
Yeah.
And then I just sit on it, and I just wait until I don't hear fire anymore, so I can go fix that.
Right, and I think that's one thing that when I learned about that, I'm like, holy crap, they thought about everything, because you can use airlocks and everything to really do stuff, and so you can also upgrade your ship, so it's not just a luck bait. I think that's one thing that may turn people off, if incredibly that you don't like, is that you may go, oh, it's just a luck based game, But really,
it definitely isn't.
No, it really is not. You start to learn strategies. You start to learn what weapons are best, what things that work well for you, that sort of stuff. It sort of can sometimes, at some points, get a little gamey at times. You sort of start going, oh, well, I can beat the game by doing X, or I always grab this weapon. I think that's the only downfall, in my opinion.
Yeah, which was what was so good about the expansion, is because
they nerfed a lot of stuff, and they added new weapons and new enemies that you kind of like. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's I've played a lot of this game though.
Me as well.
And it's just it's a good one.
So moving on, I definitely would recommend this to anyone who likes roguelites, anyone who is a fan, who enjoys games that really test them, that they have to learn. They know they're going to have to learn. So I definitely would recommend this. How about you, Thomas?
I would 100% recommend this. I think it's a fantastic game.
And the reason I lost a lot of my stuff, and I almost beat the game 100% at one point, but I had it on an iPad, and the iPad version is also very good.
Oh, there's an iPad version.
Yeah, well, and that's how I first learned about it, is that I was looking for a game that I could play on my iPad while I was sitting around waiting on long appointments,
Yeah.
And I found this game specifically, and it kind of got obsessed a little bit.
Well, good. I mean, it's a good game to get obsessed with, because it's really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, what have I done? I think I made some questionable decisions, but we're just gonna roll with it.
That's how I go in with, like, I'm definitely abusing the pilot systems.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely easy to abuse. So you talked about that you had some gaming news that you wanted to talk about. So what exactly did you want to talk about specifically?
My absolute favorite event of the year is going on right now.
Which is specifically, I think I know what you're talking about, but for people who may not be,
it's SGDQ, or Summer Games Done Quick, benefiting the Prevent Cancer Foundation.
Oh yeah, where they make games in a really short amount of time.
No, this is different. So it's assisting Doctors Without Borders, the charity. So it's a charity live stream that rakes in over $2 million over the course of a week, and it's a speed running convention, and it's a really fantastic event where people speedrun video games live on Twitch, and it's just so much fun to watch.
Oh, I have seen that in the past. That is pretty cool.
It's really cool and really fun to watch and interesting, especially if you like video games or programming at all. Like it's just so fun. Everyone has a good time. It's helping solve some real world issues. and man, it's just like everyone. It's just so lighthearted, and you get to watch video games, and you get to see. It's not even about the speedrun sometimes because you get to see a lot of old retro games and even games that were from your childhood or whatever.
Okay, can I just get? I mean, this is all great and stuff. Oh, helping kids and stuff is really cool.
Yeah.
But like, can I just say something?
Yes.
Speedrunners are freaks.
Yeah, in the sheets.
I mean,
those guys are fast at everything, Mac.
I was watching a guy beat Fallout. Which Fallout was it?
Fallout 3, probably, where he breaks his legs and he overdoes the cap on the leg breaking limit, and then it actually resets to like 300% speed, and you can move really fast.
He beats the entire game in like, and he also does like wall hacks and stuff where he like falls through the floors and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. And the whole convention is like that.
And that's my thing. Like like I said, helping kids is cool, and this is a joke, by the way, people who don't understand. But like, yeah. Honestly, you watch those games and then you kind of just go like, how? I mean, because you had to. I mean, that guy, right? It's less impressive that he's doing it as quick as he did, and more impressive that he's just like, you're like, wow, this guy spent so much time, like figuring out how to just bug the hell out of this game. You know what I mean?
What's really amazing about it is, there's whole communities around just speedrunning certain games. And so everyone's constantly finding new exploits on how to break a game more so that they can get a faster time for everybody, and then they all compete for it. So it's like this huge community around just certain specific games that people will run against each other on online leaderboards.
Right.
And it's just a really cool event. And a lot of when you watch, part of the really fun part of watching SGDQ, Summer Games Done Quick, there's also the main event. This isn't even the main event. They're both almost the same size now, but Awesome Games Done Quick, which actually happens during the winter, is the real event, the big boy. Summer Games Done Quick is like their summer, obviously it's their summer version. Yeah, the great thing is that everyone who is running these games, they go through a process of they submit their speed run, and then they say whether it's going to be a good speed run or not, and they'll take it into the event and put it into the schedule, and they'll run the event. And what's really, really cool is the people that do it are awesome because they will explain everything to you, because they know how everything works. And that's always really awesome.
Plus you're seeing it as well. It's not like they're like hiding a secret or something,
Yeah, no. And that's what's so good about it. Am I seriously just going to get destroyed right now? Oh my god, I hate this game. Oh, Jesus Christ, what's going on? Oh my god!
Did you lose?
I'm close.
Well,
I just lost 2 crew members right off the rip.
What sector are you in?
Literally the first one.
Oh wow, I'm doing amazing. I kind of feel bad,
Well, I was just taking my time, and then I just ran into this guy, and I'm just gonna actually quit this game and redo another one. Okay, time for Mac 2. All right, Mac 2. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Mac, it's okay.
Yeah, well, I partially feel bad because I died twice already.
Oh, really?
No. I mean, your crew members.
Oh, yeah.
Named Mac 1 and Mac 2, and the good old Tim Allen boy.
Ah. Right.
Although I will say that the first NG ship that you get is possibly the easiest ship to win in. I mean,
you think so?
Well, it's really great for early game because you start out with an ion blast and a combat 1 droid. So it sort of gets to a point where it's almost impossible to lose in the first little bit.
Yeah.
And if I was really min-maxing and I wasn't care about trying to be a little bit quicker, I would basically just stun their oxygen until they died.
Which is really fun.
Well, and you get more, gear out of it and stuff, and you can basically get all the way to the end with the Inji ships. The first Inji ship.
Yeah.
Which is it's a whole lot of fun.
No.
Fix that real quick. But no, that's really cool. And specifically, was there any games that you were really watching today or anything like that?
I haven't had a good chance to watch because unfortunately my work blocks Twitch.
Do they?
Of bandwidth, which blows because I would normally just watch the whole thing at work because I like it that much.
Or just listen, or even something like that.
Yeah, well, yeah. Like when I say watch at work, I am doing my work, but the thing that I, I listen to it and I just have it on the side. It's just nice,
No, I totally. Okay. And part of the thing at my work, I've been listening to. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts about social media marketing, different strategies, stuff like that. Fun stuff like that.
Yeah.
That relates to my business, my job, and learning more about it, learning new tricks and stuff. But also specifically, I also have been, I love soccer, by the way.
Uh-huh.
So I've just been like listening the crap out of every single soccer game that I can listen to. And specifically, the country that I went to this summer on my honeymoon, they are in the World Cup as we speak, and that is Croatia.
Oh, heck yeah.
And they have been doing amazing.
Good for them.
So it's kind of fun. Just oh man, these guys got the Rubble Blaster.
Yeah, see, the Rubble Blaster is what killed me last time.
And I always abuse the Rubble Blaster in my own stuff. Oop, oxygen's down. Oh, gosh, I gotta get out of here as soon as possible.
I have intruders on board. That's when you just vent the whole ship except the med bay, and that's where you fight.
Oh.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, great, good stuff. Oh, well, yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got right now. That's my whole shebang. Just loving SGDQ.
You know what? I think anything like that where anyone can go out and help the community and in such a way, I think video game is one of the best things about video games is that communities that play video games, are typically very supportive of video games, and also specifically I see a lot of really, really great community support for great initiatives like this one, other ones specifically made by real video game lovers who just want to make a difference in the community. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and who love the artistry of games. And
I agree 100%.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of really, it's just a really good event, and if you like gaming at all, you'll learn so much. It's not only about speedrunning. A lot of it is just about seeing all these games that you've probably never seen before.
Right, and I think the personalities of them really carry, especially in a lot of speed runs.
Yeah,
personalities are so important.
Yeah, and I mean, like any video game event, man, you've got your great cringe compilations on YouTube. SGDQ cringe compilations are fantastic. I still watch. The event goes on for a whole week. Okay?
But you'll go on Twitch and you'll watch the clips and stuff.
This event goes on for a whole week, and I forgot to mention it's a 24-hour live stream. They do not stop.
Right.
So it's a marathon. It's around the clock. So you end up with like how many? 1 second. Where's the fucking? I'm not a math man. So. This event goes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you end up, they post all of the videos on demand from Twitch onto YouTube and everything. So you can watch, the whole event later if you really want to, which I do a lot, actually. It's great entertainment. So that's 168 hours of pure, wonderful entertainment.
Right, yeah.
And you can donate to the cause, which I highly recommend. They read out donations. If you're lucky, you'll get yours read, and it's kind of fun. You can write stupid crap. It's a family friendly event, so
Not
That kind of
too
ruins
bad.
it a
Well,
little bit.
they're also raising stuff for cancer, so we try not to spread it as well.
Yeah, I don't know if it's cancer specifically. Now that I think about it, I think it's Doctors Without Borders.
That's cool.
Which is all still a very great cause.
Either way.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I always enjoy stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the. I think people will crap on the internet a lot, and they'll go, "Oh,
these kids and their internet."
Yeah, or, I mean, it's kind of that sort of, oh crap.
Yeah, there's porn on the internet. It can't be good.
Or I mean, anything. I mean, even the people who go, "Oh, we can't," there's X on the, I'm not collecting my thoughts very well, but I think there's a whole bunch of things that people kind of they
assume.
Yeah, they want to assume because it's
different, and they don't know what it is.
Well, and I do think there are a lot of negative things about the internet, and I think that if I don't know the necessarily the exact best way to put it, but if you go into the internet and you're expecting it to all be nice and all be good, you are going to be disappointed. You're
going to be very disappointed
because there are negative, things that happen on the internet, and it's good to be aware of those things. I think there's a great for people. I think sometimes want to just go, oh, I'm completely safe on the internet or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's could not be farther from the truth. I think we need to be good about protecting ourselves, and that's just part of it. You know what I mean? But
exactly.
I think people tend to overlook it, and they'll look at all the mishappenings or whatnot. I might lose on this one, which makes me kind of sad because I was doing so well. No, I think I got it.
You gotta pull it together.
I think I pulled it together. They got a stunner. The stunner on my oxygen.
Those will get you.
And then they've been just blasting the crap out of everything, so I've had to run around and try to fix it and everything. But anyway, I think that they overlook, the positive things that happen on the internet, like me and you doing this right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the greatest thing that ever happened to the internet, honestly.
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, it's totally true.
I mean, if you want to put it up against everything else, I think so. Yeah, no, it's really good because you can really passively watch it. And then if you're really interested in a certain game, I could go on forever about it. It's just a really great time.
I'm going to lose, I think, which makes me feel kind of bad.
It's okay. I'm doing great now.
Well, thanks, guy. But, this is kind of what we're talking about. Both of us love this game and have played it a whole lot, and we still suck at it.
Yeah, basically. That's basically the...
if I can pull this off, it'll actually... Oh, crap. It'll actually be a miracle.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
I don't think I will be able to do it, though. That's the sad part that makes me a little sad. One more hit and I'm dead. It's going to be right now.
I believe in you, though, so it'll be fine.
Well, is there anything else in the gaming community that you've kind of been looking at all, or anything like that?
It's pretty much all I got on it right now, but, that's a big deal, and it's really cool. So everyone should go check it out and, donate just $1 or $5.
Well, yeah, and every little bit helps, and, if you can give into it, why not, man?
Yeah, exactly. Why not? Do a little charity this year, and it's, it's got video games involved, so what's not good about that?
Definitely. So let's look at the list. I remember you have to defeat the enemy flagship. That one's hard.
Oh, are you trying to unlock some things?
Well, yeah, I kind of just I'm trying to, with the NG cruiser, destroy an enemy ship only using drones, no weapons. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, I just am seeing what the next ship I need to do. And this is kind of the cool thing. It's not just linear where you're just looking at one thing. You kind of, you're looking at all sorts of things.
Yep.
Is there anything else in the gaming community that you kind of been looking at? I know I already asked this, but I didn't really get an answer from you. So.
No, I think that pretty much covers everything that I can think of right now. Yeah, I haven't been following anything else super closely.
Okay, well, I do have a story for you.
Oh, please do.
So I usually don't like to talk about what I do at work, but just specifically what I do at work. But I basically do social media.
I can't talk about the things I do at work.
Well, exactly.
So please tell me.
So, well, specifically, what I was gonna talk about is that I was at home, and I want to be very clear that I wasn't doing this on my time. I was on a classifieds page, like like in the paper, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was specifically for a town, just outside of Bozeman. I believe it was like a Three Forks classified. I was just looking. I've been looking for a couple items that don't necessarily need to be mentioned here, specifically having to do with gifts that I want to give people.
Yeah.
And so what ended up happening is I was listening to not listening. I was looking up at the. Okay, I just need to restart. Ugh, I can't talk today.
You got this.
I do got this. So what I did is I was on this classified, and I see a oh crap. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm just micromanaging already. So basically, what I needed to do was I was looking around and I see this ad, right, and it's this guy advertising a what was it? He was advertising a lessons, like Spanish lessons online.
Interesting.
Right, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I know a little bit of Spanish. I was like, that might be cool, but I definitely can't afford it. But I'm glad that someone's offering it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sitting here listening to this. I'm watching this little thing, right?
Yeah.
This other guy goes on, right, and he goes, just complete idiot, right? Goes on to this other person's ad and says, "You're in America, right?
Oh God.
Speak English, right?"
Oh my God, why?
And
oh God.
I'm not 100% against it. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, I guess if you're in the country, if I can't understand you, you might want to learn you might want to learn English,
Yeah.
But I definitely don't think we should go, hey,
Hey, you foreign person that we built this country on.
Never speak another language ever.
Yeah, it's not like you're the only reason we're here.
Right. And not only that, but the other stupid part about this entire thing was that the person wrote the ad in English.
Oh my God.
Right. So it wasn't even that it was in Spanish. It wasn't in Spanish. It was in English, right?
Yeah.
And
so it was
double stupid, right? So anyway, it kind of made me angry. I was like, dude, you're just a moron. I always think I don't usually like to start fights on Facebook,
Yeah.
And I definitely don't want to be the type of guy that, and I want to hear people's opinions and stuff like that. But it was just kind of it was just rude and inappropriate. And I think that if I were the person writing the ad, I'd want other people to stand up for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd want
absolutely.
someone to kind of take my side because, oh crap. Because obviously, obviously there's something to be had about, I don't know exactly where I was going with that, but there's something to be had about working together as a team to fight stupid people. You know what I mean?
To fight hate.
Yeah, and more specifically, right? I was just angry. So basically, what I commented and said was, I was like, obviously they speak English, right? I was like, obviously they speak English. The entire ad is in English, right? And then at the end, I just threw in a dick.
Dick.
I was like, obviously they speak English, dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Good.
So I felt pretty good about that, right?
I feel a little bit of justice in that.
Now that would have been at a normal story. That would have been the end of it, right?
Uh-oh. But things get deep.
So I'm the type of person that I like people to be able to find me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like people to be able, if I mention my name to someone in passing, maybe a work, a work situation,
Yeah.
I like to have a way to, you know, I don't know the best way to say it. I like a way that even if someone's not my friend, they
They
can
can
know.
contact you.
Yeah, they can contact me and know more about me, right? So I don't have my own personal phone number up there or anything, but I did
Yeah.
have where I was working.
Oh boy.
So anyway, this guy,
Oh Christ.
this is the best part of the story. I love
Oh,
this more than I probably should.
Jiminy Christmas.
Right.
I,
The guy, I'm outside doing videos, right?
no, he. Oh my God.
He calls my work, right? And he goes off on our reception, like kind of receptionist lady, right? And he has
Oh
her
my
like
God.
write a sort of he has her write me a note that says you shouldn't call people on Facebook. You shouldn't call people dicks on Facebook.
Oh my God. What?
Right. And so I was just laughing my head off, right?
This dude was that upset about being called it. Man, I've been called worse as jokes.
Right. So it's funny. So the guy I work for, right? The business I work for, the
Yeah.
guy who runs it speaks basically fluent Spanish.
Oh Christ. Oh, this gets deeper.
Right? So my boss is like, so what exactly happened? And I was like, well, okay, I didn't do it on my like during while I was in work, right? That would have been inappropriate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Like I spent my own time just yelling at some dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was like, oh no, that's fine. You know, he's like, that guy obviously deserved it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he was kind of being a jerk. And I part of me wanted to like, I don't know. Like I wanted to call him back because the receptionist got his phone number.
Oh my God.
Right, and I wanted to call him back, you know.
Who cares enough to fucking call someone's work? Oh my fucking God.
Right, no, and I kind of was just like, you know, I don't care enough. Like, obviously, this guy is just a moron. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, obviously, this guy, and I'm not even gonna say his name. It's not even worth, you know, mentioning him.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just like it was just so funny, and then he ended up deleting it, right?
Oh
That
my
very
God.
same day.
That just sounds like the kind of thing that you hear happens, but you never think is going to happen to you. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
It's kind of one of those things. I'm laughing at it at the moment. It's you know it's
Well, of course, because it's completely ludicrous. I would laugh in that. I think anyone would just laugh their ass off. They're like, I can't believe this guy has the time to call my work because he was upset about being called a dick on Facebook.
but you know, and so that's my story, and it's yeah.
Wow. I learned the effects of alcohol on an incredibly dehydrated person this weekend.
Oh, how so? Were you
It was
incredibly
me.
good to know?
I was walking around a town all day. I think I walked around 11 miles that day. Didn't drink
wow.
a lot of water. Wasn't thinking about it. Sat down for happy hour. Had 2 drinks, just 2 little drinky poos. Like not much. It really wasn't much. And I can hold my liquor pretty well. Like you know, either average or very slightly above the average person. But that's it. But you know, 2 drinks isn't enough to really screw a man up. But
right. You
but
hope
these
at
drinks,
least.
these drinks did because I was just so incredibly dehydrated from the day. I just wasn't drinking enough water, and I drank one. And I'm like, that was tasty. I'll have another. And then the second one, it was all over, and I was so concerned because I'm like, have I lost my touch? Like,
Right.
what's happened? What has happened to me? Like, I'm just confused and sad.
It's sad. What are you sad about?
Sad about not you know feeling it after 2 drinks. It was just I mean, and some people would say, you know, well, that's actually like a good thing because you know you're not going to spend money on drinks or something. But you know, it just just felt like dirty failure to me at the moment.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that one a little bit.
Yeah, and so that happened.
And it's not an irrational thing. You're just kind of like, oh man.
Yeah, no, I was like, I thought, I could, I didn't think I was.
Now, here's the real question, Thomas.
Yes.
This is for all the beans. Were you with your girlfriend?
Yep, I was 100%.
Yeah, see that. That's why you were like, oh, I gotta impress her. I gotta keep throwing it back.
Yeah, and it was but she was in the same situation.
Oh,
and she's quite a bit.
Course.
She's quite a bit smaller, lighter than me in general. So obviously she has a lower tolerance. That's just freaking anatomy. But she was just Onion rings after like, you could tell after one.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, and at the time I was like, like I didn't think her tolerance was great, but this is definitely unusual. Passed it off as nothing, and then it happened to me, and I'm like, oh god, something's wrong. It was like we were in a shared delusion, except the delusion was all too real.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I hardly lift a finger.
And also, here comes this. I'm going to call this segment "Thomas Complains."
You know what? Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I was actually going to complain too today, in a weird way.
Oh my god!
So
great.
This is perfect. We'll move in from Thomas complains to Matt complains. So continue.
When I was at happy hour in this nice mountain town by the river, at this nice place, and this is where we met our demise. So we got drinks, whatever. That was fine. It was happy hour, so drinks were like, $4-6. It was pretty cheap.
Yeah, not too bad.
It really wasn't bad at all. And but this is where it gets bad. My girlfriend.
Never a good sign when you say that.
My girlfriend, bless her heart, she doesn't go out like super often, and she turned 21 not too long ago, so she doesn't know like super. There's almost like an etiquette to drinking. There's a certain amount of like what you do when you drink and what you order and what you can't order. When
like
you're like sitting down.
Specifically, what? Like what you're capable of drinking, or
no. When you're like sitting down at a happy hour.
Oh,
so like
right.
Like there's a difference between like going out with your bitches and like getting fucked up, and like sitting down at a happy hour.
What you're drinking. Like you mean so?
Yeah.
So like you're not going to go in and be like, oh, I want a cocktail or something specifically. It's going to be more of a mixed drink sort of deal, correct?
Yeah. Well, so this is what happens. So we're getting whatever drinks, and it's happy hour.
Of course.
Things are fine, and we order our drinks, and our tab's not bad because we were dehydrated, and so everything's fine. And then my girlfriend just out of the blue is like, "I'm gonna get a shot." And I'm like, "Okay, go for it." A shot of just straight vodka, which one for a happy hour is like a little like. Oh, that's an interesting choice, because normally you would drink a mixed drink or a beer at happy hour.
Right.
But that's fine. It's whatever. Like shots are usually reserved for getting fucked up with yo bitches. But she wanted one, and who am I to stop her from having what she wants? And so she got it, and we get the fucking bill, and the shot was $10.
Yep.
And we're like, that can't be real. Like that's just impossible. It was happy hour, but they're still allowed to charge you $10 for a shot. So our bill was like so much because of one dinky shot. Granted, the dinky shot felt like a lot more than a dinky shot, but man, like that was highway robbery, Mac. Disgusting.
Disgusting.
Just disgusting.
That's hilarious.
Yep. Well, that's the end of Thomas Complains, and now we can move on to our next segment.
Specifically, I usually don't like to go on too much about my escapades,
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've heard about my 21st birthday party.
No, but I want to.
Well, so for example, have you been to the Crystal, by the way, in Bozeman?
Man, no, I actually don't think I have,
Good.
which is
Well,
surprising.
you're not missing out on way too much.
Okay,
So
that's
don't
that's good to know.
don't feel like you're missing out on way too much. But by the way, any of my family members, if you don't want to hear about this, you don't have to. It's nothing bad, you know. Just you know. But so anyway,
Family disclaimer. Everyone else can keep listening though.
well, I mean, they can too if they want.
Yeah.
But specifically, so what ended up happening was that, oh crap. What ended up happening was that I went out with a couple friends, right? Because my
Yes.
wife was actually at National Guard, right, doing her army thing.
Yeah, doing her thing.
Oh crap. Okay. But anyway, um, I'm hanging out with some friends, and one of my friends says, "Hey, it's perfect that tonight is your 21st birthday party. We have to go out and get a drink, you know, normal thing."
Yeah.
Then they went on to say, "Oh, yeah, what we need to do, right?
What we need to
What
do.
we need to do is there's the power hour over at the Crystal, right, for your 21st." And I went, "Of course, obviously that's what we're going to do."
You're like, that's what all the kids do, correct?
Right. And I drank quite a bit more than I was supposed to. Peer pressure and the like, you know, that sort of thing.
21st birthday.
I ended up puking out of my window
That's what's up.
because it was like way more than I ever anticipated in my life.
Ever. That was like more alcohol than you wanted to drink until you died. Probably.
Well, yeah, it was $1 mixed drinks
Oh my
at the
god.
Crystal, and that's their regular. I think that's the regular happy hour special for them.
Jeez.
So yeah, there's that. That's my story. And the worst part is I was puking out of my window, and lo and behold, my neighbor is standing out in his yard, right? And it's a shared yard, right, between me and him. Specifically, it's his.
Oh my god.
And he doesn't speak any other language except for Spanish.
Oh no.
Right? So that was
Oh wow.
fun.
So you were like, how do I explain to this man if I have to explain to him?
I was just like, "Lo siento, por favor."
Por favor.
I'm like,
sorry, please.
I know it. I was like, I felt so stupid. I was like, I was trying my hardest, my darndest to be a good guy, you know?
in that moment. Oh my god.
Right. So yeah, that was my story.
That's a good one. I like that.
Mac. I lost.
Aww.
What run are you on right now? I just didn't do very good. I did really good on my first one, and I made a stupid mistake and lost, and now I'm going back. But I did unlock a new ship on that run.
Good. Yeah, I'm not doing too bad at all right now. I got myself some good stuff. You know, my shields are pretty well upgraded. I think I'm on sector 4 right now.
Oh wow. You did get pretty far.
Yeah, so I'm doing okay right now. I'm about to screw this guy up because I got a hacking module, and that's my one of my favorite doohickeys.
Right.
It's a great doohickey.
I'm sure
Just
it is.
Straight up good doohickey.
A duty.
Yeah. So that's going well. You know, I'm killing people. People are not killing me.
So I'm gonna go be really straight with you right now.
That's, you know, the only thing I've ever known in my life is being straight.
Good for you, bud.
I mean, aside from all those incredibly gay encounters that I've had. Go on, Mac.
Oh crap. So basically, I'm playing the NG the second one, you know.
Yeah.
And in the second one, you have one crew member, and you have no surveillance on your ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I basically turned my entire ship into like a nightmare zone, except for the oxygen in the pilot's cabin. So there's that.
That's good.
Yeah, I got to do a couple things so people can't just break in, but. So I guess the best place to go now would be to say is to talk about me complaining for a little bit.
Yeah, I do want that.
So I want to start it out. What's your biggest? I mean, because what's your biggest pet peeve in your
My biggest
yeah
pet peeve.
all time biggest pet peeve?
Okay. I deeply hate. Okay, so I grew up in people don't know this about me. I grew up in a military family. Both of my parents were in the Air Force
Which
at
is
one
which is
point.
something I can sort of understand. Just with my wife being in the military. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
okay,
and you grew up
I
in Colorado Springs too, right? So was your dad Air Force or something like that?
No. I grew up in Fort Collins.
Oh, right. Sorry, my bad.
They weren't in the Air Force when I was born. They were in it beforehand, so they're veterans technically.
Right.
Um, uh, and so I grew up. So I have two moms also. I think you knew that.
Yes, I did know that.
Yeah. And so this is my biggest pet peeve is I hate it. I deeply hate it when you have a carpeted house and you wear shoes on that carpet. It's like that carpet does not deserve your goddamn dirty ass shoes because how else are you supposed to keep that shit clean?
Right.
And coming from a family that was military, one parent in particular beat this into my head for my whole life and a lot of other things as well, very regimented. But this was the one that stuck with me because I wholeheartedly agree with this. Because if I step on a carpet and I step on like some dirt or some like some pebble or anything that's in my carpet that shouldn't be there, but soft, plush beautifulness, it pisses me off. So like even if I'm storing my shoes somewhere else in my house, when I walk in the door, I take those goddamn shoes off. I pick them up and I take them over, and I put my shoes on at the door. That carpet never sees shoes, and
Right.
it's just my biggest pet peeve. I hate that shit.
Any other glaring ones that you're thinking about? Big pet peeves that you got?
That's what I got. That's my big boy. That's my big one.
Well, I mean, okay, so it's weird. I mean, you talk about like it's weird. It's kind of weird that you talk about carpet because it was weird in my house. Like, okay, so I had a childhood home.
Yeah.
And in that home,
most of us.
Specifically in this childhood home, it had a lot of carpet in it, right?
Yeah.
But we were only in that place for a while, and basically, I believe in like fifth, maybe fourth grade, maybe it was quite a while ago. We moved to a different house, and in that said house, we didn't have one bit of carpet.
Yeah.
It was all. Yeah, I mean it was literally all wood floors. So like for me, I just grew up like, oh, I'm great with wood floors. I love wood floors. They're so easy to care for. And all this stuff and so like my wife is so much different than me. You know what I mean? She's like she has to have carpet, and if there's any wood on the floor, you know what I mean? She's like, I really want a carpet to put over it. And I'm like, what? It's nice wood floor, like.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I gotcha.
So it's just, and I think, this is one, here's a different segment for you, Thomas.
Okay.
Romance advice with Mac.
Oh, romance advice with Mac. Welcome to the segment, everybody.
AKA Macking out.
Yeah. Highly requested segment that we're starting today.
I was seeing all of your comments, by the way.
Yeah, and all of them pointed us in this direction.
Yeah, So I think the number one thing is people's lives are so weird, right? Because we grow up in a specific way with a specific set of circumstances, and we're taught that what we have in our childhood is normal. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yep.
And it's funny in a sense that we, when we get married, or like even when we like date, you know what I mean? We start to learn those weird like, oh yeah, your family doesn't do X. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it always just intrigues me.
It should.
Well, because it's me and my wife are very similar in very specific ways. We have very similar beliefs on very different issues, and
Mm-hmm.
also specifically we have very much different issues, right? And it's so funny, just those little things in life that you get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little too like, I don't know. But it's something, you know, and I think the hardest part about a relationship, you know, making it work is finding out what those are, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You know, finding out, oh, okay, well, your family does this, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And oh, my family does this, and trying to find a way in between those. And I mean, that was the hardest part when me and my wife got married, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Was trying to find those segments in our life where we would go, okay, you know, your family did it this way, right?
Yeah.
And obviously my family did it this way. And it's weird because there's random things in your life that you're like, oh wow, my family was doing it wrong, you know? Like,
Yeah.
wow, your family knew what they were doing, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
My family was
Yeah.
just
No.
stupid.
Yeah. No. There's stuff like that all the time. Like my when I was dating my girlfriend, still am. Her family has always. This is way normal for most families. Uh, I never ate red meat as a child, um, and when I started dating Bailey, just that changed my whole. I was always, one of my parents just thought it was awful for you and terrible in every single way, and now I just eat it normally because it's pretty normal. But I
Right.
always thought it was taboo when I was a youngin. Uh,
You doing
yeah,
okay there, bud?
yeah, I think I'm doing pretty okay. Um, getting through the enemy shields right now is a light issue, but it's I'm progressing. Dude, fuck
I
this
am an
guy.
idiot.
Okay, well, let's go, baby.
Ooh, baby. Oh no, I'm gonna lose again
Oh,
because I screwed up and I forgot about the number one thing about this run. Okay, I'm gonna restart real quick. Okay.
that
Ah, I'm looking just like a noob.
Mac. Sometimes we look like noobs.
And that, so this is back to the subject. It's so funny. So specifically about red meat, was it weird that she just eats a lot of it, or
It wasn't even like terribly a lot of it, but it was just like I don't know. It's just that they ate it and I didn't, and I was like, that's weird. But it wasn't weird. It was just how I grew up specifically. Um,
right?
and I don't know. That's the big thing I can think of, I guess. And yeah, that's all I got. And also, Bailey, before I came along, wore her damn shoes on carpet. Um, guess guess who doesn't do that anymore?
Let me guess. Is it her?
Yeah, I just won't stand for it. I just will not stand for it.
Uh,
Oh man, this
that
is a big
is hilarious.
yeah.
Okay,
I'm saying,
what's the number one thing that my wife does? Okay, I might embarrass my wife with this story.
please do.
I love you, Nikki, by the way. I honestly do, I promise. So I guess the number one thing for me is as soon as we moved in together, the first thing I realized was that I kept finding this knife by our toilet.
I
I think you know where this is going, right?
I think I might, but I'm not totally sure. But I color me intrigued.
So the hardest part, okay, so like I kept finding, I'll just go back. Okay. I kept finding this knife beside our toilet,
Yeah.
right? And I kept taking it back to the kitchen, right? And it was wrapped in a plastic, you know, a, a, it was wrapped in a plastic bag, right? Like the kind you get at
Yeah.
a, the kind you get at like a, like a grocery store or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And finally, it kept showing up, and I was like, Nikki, do you keep putting this knife here? Am I going nuts? And she goes, oh, yeah, my family's always done that. You always have a poop knife.
What?
To which I said, what?
Understandably.
What are you talking about? Right? And she's like, if you get too big of a, if you poop too big, right?
You cut it up?
Yes, and I was like, what are you talking about? Right?
Oh my god, that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Right, and I'm like, I don't think Nikki, okay, this is my thing. I'll stand up for my wife. I do not think that my wife actually uses it, right?
Yeah.
But what she doesn't use it, but I think it's because she comes from, it's from the family she comes from, right? And for me, it's just so weird because I was just like, why don't you just,
pinch?
Or, well, not even pinch. Why you could take a flush. I mean, that's what my family does. You do those preliminary flushes,
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you're like, wow, this is going to be a big... This is a really weird topic, by the way. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's going to be a big one.
Yeah, you're like, oh, wow, this is going to be a big one, right? So you'll midway through, right?
Yeah.
You flush.
Yeah.
Right? So that you're like, oh, you take it in turns. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a weird thing that happened with, with my wife.
Yeah. That definitely beats wearing shoes on the carpet.
Well, and it wasn't even... Oh, man, she's going to kill me. If we don't have another podcast, that's why.
Can I talk about the most un-American thing ever?
Is it Space Force? Oh, wait, sorry. Continue.
No. Mac, I don't usually like to get political.
What?
But I'm about to get political, Mac.
Okay.
You know what is the worst thing that no one should stand for?
What?
Low-pressure toilets. Okay? Because that's just fucking un-American.
Have you gone... You've never been outside of America, have you?
Mac. No, I've been outside of America. But it just seems... So they say everything's bigger in America, especially Texas, right? Well,
yeah, don't forget about Texas.
Well, yeah, the shit is too. The shit is big here. And you can't sell me a house or rent me an apartment if I'm going to go up to that's the first thing I check. I go to the toilet and I'm like, is this going to be able to handle the big ones? Because if it can't handle the big ones, I'm not going to spend my time. I'm not going to waste my time friggin' trying to plunge it, trying to fucking stick a friggin' poop knife in it. Like, that's not something that I want to do. I want to have one of those toilets where you go to work and you can confidently take the biggest shit of your life and you flush that toilet and it feels like you're inside of an airplane. Because if it doesn't feel like that, then there is no point. It doesn't make any sense to me that we still have these toilets that seem like they take like literally minutes to actually flush all the way, and you're sitting there because you just took a big old shit and you're watching the toilet and you hit that flusher and then it starts kind of going and you're waiting, gritting your teeth because you're like, it's not going to go.
That's also the worst feeling when you're at a friend's house and this happens.
Mac, I have got a story for you.
Oh,
I'm so why. Sorry. Okay, I hate low pressure toilets. I can't get behind them. And some of there's plenty of reasons that date back to this. Mac, there's something about pumping that log out and getting it out all the way. You know what I mean?
Wow. Okay, continue.
Like, yes, you shouldn't have to be denied that simple pleasure in life, which a low pressure toilet in fact denies you.
Continue.
I'm going to summarize this story because it's long. You know what? No, we're going into it, Mac.
Yeah, we've gone right now. We're at. I usually can find it. Oh yeah, we're in about an hour. So continue, my bud.
This is pure passion. I have a good friend. His name. I've told this story on my other podcast before, but I forget what episode it would be. So I'm telling it here again.
If you can find it, Thomas, I'll put it down in the description below. How does that
Yeah,
sound?
I'll look for it. My buddy Andreas, who is a member of Fancy Penguin Productions, my YouTube channel. We're good. We've been good friends for a long time. And his parents had just moved into a new house. I've known him for a long time. I know his parents pretty well too. Like they know me. So it's all fun. And they got a new place down here in Colorado, and we were hanging out one day. And we were just kind of bullshitting around like, good old times. We did a live stream where we just were spinning fidget spinners because we thought it would be funny. We bought them for $1 at Target, sat down in a coffee shop and live streamed from a phone. You can find that live stream. I'll give that link to you, Mac.
Okay.
So after this all happened, we're like, well, we got nowhere to go, and we don't want to keep like walking around a Target like we're back in high school or vagrants. So let's go back.
We'd never want that, would we?
Yeah, we wouldn't want that. So we went back to his parents' new house that they were like literally just moving into, like boxes everywhere.
Right.
And his dad's sitting there and he's watching something on the TV, and we're like, hi, and what's up? We're just gonna hang out in the backyard and we're gonna smash these fidget spinners with a hammer, which we did.
As one does.
Yeah, because we didn't want to be those people that actually liked them, even though we did. So we thought if we broke them right away, we wouldn't use them, and we couldn't because they were broken with a hammer.
Which is a perfect way to deal with it.
Yeah, very grown-up way to deal with it. So we broke them, and then it dawned on me in that moment, Mac. Okay, something took over my body. And it was that feeling that we all get every once in a while. And it was that, oh my God, I got a shit feeling. And so I'm like, Andreas, I got to use your bathroom. And he's like, okay, man. And I'm like, great. And I go in there and I take one look at this toilet. I eye this toilet and I'm just like, this is a low pressure flusher, isn't it? I knew it just from the shape. It's more round than a normal toilet. It looks like it's been there a few too many years. I'm like, this toilet is not going to give me that airplane suction that this bad boy needs. And so this starts one of the most harrowing journeys of my life, because there was no way I couldn't keep this in. So I sat down on this toilet and out, I even tried. I tried to make sure that everything went right, by, pooping in pieces but it just, nothing worked after this. This low pressure piece of shit didn't take my shit well.
Right.
I get up and I'm like, wow. Like, not only was I lightly embarrassed because that bathroom turned into a gas chamber fit for the execution of thousands of people, it also turned into a prison for me because I pressed that flusher and you could see it. You could see it like an iceberg sticking out of the Atlantic Ocean, ready to sink the Titanic.
Ah, sorry.
I died too.
Continue.
I died too. And the water just started flooding that toilet.
Oh no!
And it got really high, but not high enough to go over the edges. I'm like, okay, thank God. That's the first thing that I was worried about. I was already worried about destroying this toilet, which I did. And I was sitting there, I'm like, fuck, what do I do? I'm like, okay, the first thing you do is everybody has a plunger, right? I need to get the plunger, wait for the water to go down. I'm going to try this again. I'm going to break this poop up and we're going to wipe that plunger off. Nothing will look like it ever happened, right? That seems like a good idea.
Right.
I go for the plunger. They are moving into their new house. They don't have a plunger.
You needed a poop knife.
There is zero plunger. I needed a poop knife. There was zero plunger in this entire room. I scoured the entire room, and I'm just like, oh God, there's no plunger. And I'm just sitting in here. It's been a while now. My friend is being very patient with me. I'm a notoriously long pooper. So it wasn't super out of the ordinary yet, but I was panicking. And so I'm like, fuck, what do I do? And I remember back, there was this really funny story that this guy from Rooster Teeth told where he was at his grandma's house and he took a huge shit and it wouldn't flush, and so he's just like, fuck it, and he used his hand and he just broke it up. And I'm like, am I there yet? Am I this desperate? Like, am I going to have to do this? Because I just destroyed Andreas's parents' new toilet in their new home. Like, I was the person that did that. I was the friend that came over and disgraced their family. And so I didn't get to that point, but I did get to the point where I'm like, I started cryptically texting. I was cryptic. I texted Andreas, who was just outside the door somewhere else, and I'm just like, Andreas, there's something wrong. and I would go back and look at these texts. I don't have them, readily available enough, but like the actual gist of it is pretty much, I was like, Andreas, there's something wrong. You're missing something. And he's like, what am I missing? Toilet paper? Like, there's just some under the sink. And I'm like, no, not toilet paper. And he's like, oh. I'm like, I need a plunger. And he's like, there's not a plunger in there. I'm like, no. And he's like, oh shit, I don't think we have one yet. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, Andreas, you need to find something, anything that I can fucking ramrod this poop down the barrel of this toilet. And so I was like, go find something, go break a branch off of a tree and bring it to me. I don't care what it is. And so he comes back to me with a plastic golf club.
What?
Yeah, that he found in his garage, and he's like, this is fine to get covered in feces. And I'm like, great. And so he hands it to me through the door, and I grab it, and you want to know what the immediate problem was?
What is it?
The toilet had a small mouth, and I couldn't ram the club into it because it just wouldn't go. And so instead of getting anything done, I just got it covered in shit.
I'm so sorry for you, Thomas.
And so I'm like, wow, this is awful. And I'm like, Andreas, bring me a plastic bag. Throw that shit in the plastic bag. Not the shit, the golf club covered in shit. And we threw it out. And at this point, I had lost a lot of hope. So I left the bathroom with Andreas, and I'm like, what do I do? Like, I'm so sorry what I've done to your parents' home. And he's like, man, I don't know. And so we're kind of like pacing around trying to figure this out. And eventually Andreas is just like, Thomas, you got to swallow your pride. My mom's out shopping right now. I'm going to tell her to get a plunger. And I'm like, oh God, Andreas, no. And he's like, I'm going to do it. And I'm like, I don't want, this is embarrassment for me. This is embarrassment for your family. And so he just does it. And the worst part was his mom pulls into the driveway and she immediately hands me the plunger. And I walk into the bathroom and I fix the problem after like 30 minutes of fighting with what is basically Moby Dick. And then, yeah. So, Mac, I hate low pressure toilets, and that's my story.
Wow, I feel bad for you.
Yeah, it was a terrifying, awful experience.
That must have been traumatic.
It was traumatic. I think it shaped me as a human.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's that for you. I spilled my beans. This is the bean spill episode.
Okay, so I told you I'd tell you my pet peeve.
Yeah.
And the way I said it made it sound like I would be like, oh, when,
Yeah.
It's not that. One of my biggest pet peeves, right?
Yeah.
Is, well, I think we kind of talked about it a little bit before, and I know we did, is one of my pet peeves is when people just like immediately just dismiss people, in a way,
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, why do you think that? You're wrong,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's, Anyway, that's one of them. And I think that's an important one to kind of point out,
Yeah.
Something's wrong here. Oh, that's what's wrong. My bad. Another pretty big pet peeve of mine. One of my biggest pet peeves is when you have your headphones in, and people like are like, they immediately walk up to you and just start talking to you.
I hate that.
And then you have to be like, hey, oh, 1 second. Sorry, what did you say?
Yep. All too often.
That's a big one for I always am like, it kind of bugs me. I'm like, yeah. So there's that.
Yep. That's a bad one.
I have a couple. I'm a type of guy where I'll have like little pet peeves that bug me.
Uh,
Like parents that don't like ever take care of their kid. You know what I mean? Like where it's like their kid's like being a brat or something, in a store or something like that, and they just go, oh ha ha ha.
What a silly kid.
And you're like, stop this now. So that's a pet peeve of mine.
Instead of like doing the proper thing to that child, which is shoving them in a human-sized pickle jar.
Yeah. Another big pet peeve of mine are the kind of people that. Now I gotta search my mind for a good one. All right, a big one of mine, and I know this sounds a little weird because, I live in Montana. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we drive a very specific way in Montana.
We sure do.
Right. And one of my biggest pet peeves is when people don't use a turn signal.
I hate that shit.
And it gets so, like, okay, do you know there's, like, irrational pet peeves that you have?
Yeah.
Where you're like, I know that I shouldn't, like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where it's like, honestly, it doesn't even matter too much. You know what I mean? Like, you're sitting at a place in the middle of nowhere, no one's around. You know what I mean? And you're still like, oh, I need to turn my signal on. Part of me goes, yeah, okay, I kind of understand that. I guess you don't need to turn your signal on. You know what I mean? But another part of me goes, no, you absolutely need to turn your signal on. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I agree with you on this one.
Because it's like out of principle. You know what I mean? Like it's, why do we use our turn signal? Oh, so that, we remember to do it later, And it's so funny. You go to California or like even when in Denver, people never use their turn signal.
Yeah, no, and it sucks. And it's like, man, you can avoid so many accidents if people just always use their turn signal.
I agree. So anyway, those are my. I listed a couple off because I don't really have any like really really big ones. I guess I do have a couple big ones, but they're not like way important. They're not way too big or anything like that. But yeah. So what do you have to talk about, Thomas? Is there anything that you want to get off your chest? You want to confess anything?
I think I got everything that I needed to get off my chest off today.
Really?
Like. That, it's been an emotional roller coaster, this podcast for me today.
Has it really?
Yeah. I started with some lighthearted talking about things that I love. And then I talked about some like middle of the road, like, wow, I did stuff with my girlfriend and, she's silly and we drank and we were dehydrated. And then I ended just with trauma. So, it's really been a trip, this podcast.
There's that. Yeah, I definitely think, all sorts of things happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have anything else you need to say, Mac?
Well, I'm kind of stretching it out a little bit, trying to see if I can make it through this real quick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I died and I just, I figured that was going to be my last one, so now I'm just going to...
No, that's... You are totally fine. Yeah, I might as well end it off there, I think we talked about a lot. Is there any last minute thing you want to say? I felt we needed to do a little bit of cleanup.
Yeah.
If proverbially bring in the the pink golf club, as you will.
Yes, yeah.
Do a little bit of house cleaning.
Yep.
And I thought we should mention a couple things about previous podcasts. Specifically, one of which I thank you guys so much for everyone's watching and hanging out with us and doing all that sort of thing. I was not expecting to get as many just random people, and it's not crazy huge, but
Yeah.
it is a little bit more than I expected at first. Other than that, I mean, is there any thoughts on the podcast for you, Thomas, so far? Third episode?
I think so far it's going well, and it's really laid back. And if you're here with us, man, like again, we get so many comments. We don't. But really, if you do want us to hit on a point, like you guys have the stage right now, like just let us know what's up and we'll talk about it.
Definitely, and we want to. I think it's definitely a time in which, we really want to hear from you guys in a sense, and we also, we want ways of adding to this in a way that we can continue on in the future and have different topics. If there's a thing that you guys would love us to talk about, or, if there's something you don't want us to ever talk about ever again, we'd understand.
Yeah, that too.
So, I definitely think that. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. The subscribing part is really, really important. And the reason for that, and Thomas could probably talk about this as well, but the big reason you really should subscribe is that it helps us out, because every single time we release a video, you will get an update and you will hear about it.
Yeah, and make sure you hit that bell too if you got a lot of subscriptions, because
it'll help cut through.
Yeah, that's also important now, because YouTube is just the worst. But hey, we're gonna fight through adversity.
That's our plan, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it was in our 10-step plan to make a successful podcast, which we'll talk about next time.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, we can't reveal our secrets.
Yeah, exactly. We're just too successful. Yeah. So I think that's a pretty good place to end. And the other big part, just right before we end, I know I just said right before we end, right after saying right before we end, which is a little obnoxious. That's a pet peeve of mine.
God damn it, Mac.
This is a awful place to end. So I'm just gonna lose on purpose, because I'm just dead. And it's a perfect place to end. But I think, the one thing that'll help us too is that if you're enjoying the podcast, make sure to share it out with different people.
Yeah.
If you know someone that may not know us, someone that would like listening to us, or that even if you might have a passing affection for us, we would love for you to share them, share us with them.
Yeah, and guys, like if you work a desk job at all, or if you have a commute, podcasts are really great. So like sometimes take a break from your music, and if you aren't into podcasts yet, and this is your first podcast, or someone's trying to get into podcasts, like almost any podcast is good, just because kind of listening to stuff and people talk about things is interesting sometimes. So like, I listen to a lot of small podcasts when I work. And so if you know anyone that would be interested in that, or they work a desk job and they need stuff to listen to, you can never have enough stuff to listen to. So even if it's, us, of all
definitely,
people.
Definitely.
Someone might enjoy that at work. So.
I definitely agree. So I think that's a good place to end. For real this time. Thank you guys once again so much for listening. I'll say it one more time just to make sure you guys help us out. Make sure to like, comment, tell us something funny we can talk about. Maybe a news event you want us to give our inputs on. Maybe a new video game that we're interested, or maybe a game that you would like us to play at some point while we give a talk. For future episodes, we have a couple different things. We could play FTL. Obviously, we just play this now. We have Tricky Towers. That's something we've been interested in playing. We have a couple other things I think that's on our list. Specifically, let me pull it up. We have a list here of things. Sorry, my bad. One sec. Specifically, things that we could play in the background, just for something to watch or anything like that. We both have, what's it called again? It's Guns of Icarus online. That's a pretty good one. Me and you could play that. Other than that, if you have something you'd like us to play, definitely send it in, and we'll take a peek, and we'll see if it's going to work for our podcast, and make sure Mac's not going to be so angry that he gets too salty and just quits.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right.
Any closing statements, closing jokes, anything, Thomas?
Oh man, put me on the spot here, Mac. Why? Here's a thought. Why are pictures rectangles when the lens is round?
Actually, okay. Can I?
Yeah, you can tell me the real reason. I knew the moment I said it, you were going to give me a real answer to this question.
So, the question is that why are pictures square when the lens is round?
The lens is round, Mac. The pictures should be round.
They are. That's okay. So this is the thing. This is my M. Night Shyamalan moment. Pictures that you see are round, but the camera inside of it only picks up a square image, right? So specifically, let's talk about black and white camera film, right?
Yeah.
The piece of paper that is picking up light in the camera
is
square.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yep.
In your camera, in your digital camera, right?
Yep.
You have digital sensors. So you have light sensors in there that pick up light that's hitting it, and it basically turns it into ones and zeros that it can turn into, what you're watching right now, basically. Basically, though, they arrange it in a square feature, and you could, if you put up light sensors or a piece of paper. So I don't know if you've ever made a pinhole camera, Thomas.
I have.
The actual image that's projected is a circle.
Yeah.
And you can actually, there's some really cool art out there where they do pinhole cameras and the actual image itself is just a circle.
That is so cool.
So there you go. There was a thought that you thought of, and I was able to answer.
Yeah, so there you go. That's our leaving knowledge for you guys. You're welcome.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, stopping the recording.